I don't know if it's just me, but it's crazy to me how people could get by, exist, and feel so comfortable during times like this. There's a lot of people that's living above their means. People who are drowning themselves more in debt because they don't even care anymore. They checked out, but ignorantly, their debt could be their biggest downfall, and times is getting hard. Everything is continuing to increase, and thank God my rent hasn't been touched since my last lease renewal. Thank God. Rent is the killer. Yes, it is. That's the most number one thing that everyone continues to push to work for, especially if you're living on your own. Let's just face it. Rent is the number one killer to our finances. And if you don't have the right job, the right income, depending on your area where you live, the rent could kill your pockets. It could kill your finances. And by the time you know it, you're broke. I don't remember the last time I was comfortable enough to go on a vacation, relax, and spend time with my family. I've been doing nothing but jobs for a lot of overtime or having to do 2 to 3 jobs. Yeah, this is what I got to go through. Welcome to America in 2023. In 2024, only God knows what will happen. I'm all for being positive. I'm praying and hoping for the best, but there's a time and place that you need to be realistic, and God gave us a mindset to be smart. It's just a lot of people choose not to use it. A lot of people out there just chooses not to use it. They check out, they're lazy, they don't care anymore, and then they get too comfortable. And when something happens and when a crisis arises, they're pissed off, stuck, and screwed over. I don't want to be those type of people. I've been applying to and looking for jobs, and there was one job interview that I was thinking about going to, but I'm going to change my mind because the job is about $1 less than what I'm making right now. It's closer to home, yes, but it's the hours that's not going to be enough. Working for a 24-hour a weekly check, making $16.50 an hour. That's about $1,500 a month and change. It's not going to cut your rent and your bills. It's not going to cut it, especially if your rent is over $1,800. Yeah, my rent is over $1,800 a month. 1,800. I'm in that range paying rent. And this is in a nice area in South Carolina. I don't mind the pay if I got paid a lot more, but at the same time, most jobs out here, they aren't giving you a lick of news on a potential wage increase. Isn't that crazy how that works out? Everything is going up. The cost of food, the cost of gas, the cost of groceries, the cost of living, the cost of entertainment. Everything is going up except for the pay. People who are living on minimum wage. Majority of the world is a minimum wage worker. Majority of people in this world does not have a career. How do you think the economy keeps afloat? People who work at McDonald's, Wendy's, fast food restaurants, janitors, all essential workers, and people who keeps the lights on. Everybody's busting their behind trying to make it. And at the same time, I can't speak for everybody, so I'm going to take back what I said. There's a lot of people who are quiet quitting, and people are just checking out of the workforce in general and just depending on the government to pay for their needs and their essentials. There are people who are checking out from having children or having no children at all. There are men and women who are deciding that it's cheaper to just be single than go through the stress and the headache, depending on their situation. There are some people who are couples who just thought in their mind they're not going to even have any kids, all because of the finances. There was a news post that I seen. I didn't get a good look at it because I think it was full of crap, but it was a nurse and her husband, and she said she's only left with about $100 to $200 every month, and she was in tears because she was claiming that she can't afford life right now. I don't know if she's living above her means. I don't know if she's in a lot of financial debt, and it caught back up to her. That could have been the case, because there's cases where if you're not catching up with your debt, especially if it's student loans, whatever type of debt it is, they could garnish your wages. And once they garnish your wages, it hurts your pockets long term, and that's not worth going through. Trust me, it isn't. Just recently, I had to pay my New York State taxes that I owed because I'm from New York, and I had to pay the IRS money that I owed them for a few audits. Yeah, they don't care what you're going through. They don't care about your life stories. They don't care about what crisis you're going through. They don't care. Everybody wants their money. There's landlords that has the audacity and the nerve to ask or believe that there's individuals out there that has 3 times the rent. Yeah, that's right. They want people that has 3 times the monthly rent. Say if the rent is $2,000. They expect you to make 3 times as that so they could trust you as a liability that you'll pay the rent. They'll trust you. Not only that, you got to worry about your credit. And there's a lot of people out there that I know is not financially set, and they're struggling. And they're even struggling to keep up with their credit card debt or their debt. And their credit is subpar or poor. Times is getting hard right now. I'm not even thinking about having any more kids. And I know how much my wife wants more children, but if you can't have them, you can't have them. I have 2 kids. 2 with my wife. And it's already hard. I'm in a time right now where it's like, with all the drama going down at my dead-end job, at least it gets paid more. At least I get paid more than many of the average jobs out here in South Carolina. This is why I'm trying to get my behind together, get my stuff together, and leave this state for good. I made a past video on why it sucks living in South Carolina, and it really does. People could come down here for the cost of living, but the work opportunities, the job market, you have to think about that and consider that. I've said all I had to say about South Carolina in that one video. I'm going to link it and pin it in the comment section down below so you guys can see this video. And I'm going to also link my previous video on finances. Stuff like this is real. It's depressing. It is very depressing out here. And life is no joke right now. I'm 30 years old going on 31. I'm in my early 30s. And I feel like I was living above my means, and now it's catching up to me. I finally caught up with a lot of my debt, and it still feels like I'm broke because I had to cut back from my savings because my wife is going to nursing school. She's aiming to be a registered nurse, and they require students to have insurance. I believe just in case if anything was to happen during the clinicals. This is what my wife explains to me. So I had to cut back my loss on overtime. Yeah, I had to cut back from the overtime. It's like they expect you to be poor and live dirt poor down here until you can make it. And once you make a name of yourself and you have a career to show face for, right? You have to pay for the insurance out of pocket, or you have to go through a union insurance. And there's some cases the company pays for it. They pay for your insurance. That's a guarantee. Yeah. Other than that, wages is barely going up down here. I don't know if it's like that in New York City, because there was one point I was thinking about living in New York City. The wages compared to New York City and South Carolina, the minimum wage jobs, most of them are about the exact same thing. The exact same thing. I see nothing but $13, $14, $15 an hour jobs. Some cases I see about 16, 17, 18 at fact. Anything that's above $17, $18, $19 an hour, those are the ones that you have a slim chance of finding or even getting yourself in, because that is going to have more competition. Why do you think all these subpar minimum wage jobs that are paying nothing but less than $15 an hour? Why do you think they're so desperate and willing to want to hire people, but they don't want to bump up their wages? So now you're in a case where you either have to deal with the competition, risk it, and see if you can find an $18, $19, $17 and up minimum wage job in order for you to get by, or you do it for a job that you're getting paid less than $16 an hour, and you get a second job on top of that, so you can have something to save in your pocket, depending on your area, where you live. And most people doesn't want to live in the ghetto just to save money. Most people don't want to live like that. Because when you live like that, you're exposed to a lot of crime. You're exposed to a lot of drama. You're exposed to a lot of problems. I used to live in the projects. I used to live in a ghetto environment. I would understand. Cheap isn't always better, but having the peace of mind is better. But it's only if you could afford it and if you're willing to put in the work for it. Me and my wife are both college students. I'm trying to push to make it. And I know it requires work, and it's all about the mindset. At the end of the day, whatever happens in the future, you have to set yourself back and don't live above your means in order to save money, because now these days, times is going to get hard. And it's going to get harder unless you get a career. Yes, we could blame the career people and the tech workers that are moving into certain states and businesses booming in certain states. Yes, they could be blamed majority of the time on why the cost of living is increasing. It's because of them. And a lot of states are trying to advertise for high potential earners. And it's just the landlords has to be realistic. Majority of people can't afford 3 times the rent of $1,800, $2,000 and up. They have to understand how the job market works too. Majority of people out here does not have a career. And if you're advertising to career-driven people, and there's no Uber Eats, there's no McDonald's workers or anything like that, right? What do you think is going to happen to the economy? All those fast food workers, people working at Walmart, grocery stores, where are they living? They have to live in subpar, poor apartments. They have to travel so far out. They're living in poverty. This is a economy problem in America. And if minimum wage was to even jump up and rent was to stay stagnant, it would make things so much better for everyone. It really would. I don't like being stressed out. But at the exact same time, I know in order for me to live a better quality of life and live that quote unquote American dream, I have to do what I have to do. I have to do what I have to do. There's a reason why there's women that are they're tired of working. There's a reason why women want a man to take care of them. They're even tired of working, majority of them. But at the exact same time, there's not many men that has a career. 2 heads is better than 1 today. Only God could change and only God can make a change. If a change could take place, but at the exact same time, money is a problem today in this economy in America. The best thing you could do to being realistic, to move forward, get your financial situation straight. Whatever is holding you back, cut it off and do what you're supposed to do and aim for a career to live a better quality of life. That's my best advice. Casual talk here. Peace out. Let me know what you think.